Mine's a little delayed, just like me. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depends on time you're watching this. I missed a little bit. Welcome to episode 8 for season 3. We think those are numbers we're on of the
I
three.
feel like it should be 18.
Well, it's been a year. Almost. So, yeah, whatever. Of the Three Wise Men podcast. So, Captain Jay, that's Mitchell Wiseman,
Hi.
and hold on, we get the right angle. That down there is Mr. Jared.
He's the hard
Chuck Norris's long lost cousin.
Man, we didn't even make it a minute.
Yes, that's right. Good show, guys.
He said, "Man, we didn't even make it a minute."
We're live, not anymore. Goodbye, everyone. Until next week.
Same bat channel, whack place.
Hey, they said the only time Chuck Norris made a mistake. Oh, what happened? Oh,
I said quack.
they said the only time Chuck Norris was wrong was when he thought he had made a mistake.
See, that's a conundrum for me. I keep thinking in my head, so he's wrong because he thought he was wrong. So he was actually right. And it just seems like for me.
Or something.
They said that they said Bill Gates. Oh, they said Bill Gates lives in constant fear of Chuck Norris's PC crashing.
So what's today's topic? Besides Chuck Norris?
Today's topic is the good, the bad, and the ugly quotes. The reason I chose this topic is that because we should always be careful with our hearts and minds. Sometimes quote might seem very, very helpful, especially if we're in a dark place. Sometimes quotes can give good advice. Sometimes quotes can give okay advice. Sometimes quotes can just be all over the place. And sometimes quotes can just be, we should be careful with what we read and what we try to incorporate into our lives, the type of thinking. Some quotes were made by people in a really dark place. You can find it, like examples of that even in the Bible, where like the person who wrote Revelations was actually in prison. Yeah. Dante's Inferno was written by a guy in prison who shouldn't have been there, and was in a really dark place. So you can imagine that probably impacted his writings and how he saw things. Now, does that mean God didn't speak to him? No, of course not. It's just those things can have an impact because we're human. Mm-hmm. And that's just how it is. So one of these quotes I'll share, and it's supposed to be on a podcast. If you agree with it, if you don't, that's not what this channel is. This isn't meant to shame anyone. If it does, and if we do in the process of talking about these quotes, I apologize. That wasn't our intent. If they don't involve you, don't get involved. If they don't tell you, don't ask. If they don't invite you, don't go. Know your position in people's lives. Which sounds like great advice, right? On the outside, it's like, know your value in somebody's life. Yeah. And we all should to an extent. But if you really break down each one of those, it's basically saying that you should be the center of their lives.
Center of the world.
Which can't always be the case. An example is that I had a friend that I would always text, but it would take them weeks to reply. So one day I asked him, I was like, did I get upset? Do I bore you? Things of that nature. I thought like this guy did. I thought people would respond immediately to text, that if they had time for you or they cared, they would. And that's partially true, but I'm also not the center of that person's world. This person had a husband. This person had friends, family. You name it. Whatever it is, they had. Mm-hmm. So even though we knew each other since childhood, my messages weren't really anything important. So there was no reason to respond right away. Sometimes they just forget. Sometimes they would be busy and they would mean to respond, but they don't. Those things happen. Take that into account. I know it happens in my life when people text me. It might take me hours to respond to a text. And sometimes it's because my internet's just really bad, and because I pay for cheap internet because I'm too cheap to pay for it. And that's just true. So I don't get a message like until like a day later sometimes. But we got to look at these quotes carefully, and we got to give people, like in this particular one, we got to give people a little bit slack. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Well, it's a time frame for someone to respond. Like I had a friend that was in the same. He would message me, and I was like 20 minutes later, "You mad at me, bro?" No, I'm at work, bro. I can't answer right away.
Well, I did the
And I'm
same
like,
thing too.
Yeah. And, well, now this wasn't reference, but I'm like, I'm at a responder. I'm driving. I'm on the highway. I'm pooping. I don't know. There could be a variety of reasons why I can't answer right now. Do you want me to show you a screenshot of what I'm doing? I can show you. I mean, there's a picture.
Why do I see a bathroom? Oh, I see.
There you go.
How do I have 41,000?
So, I mean, sometimes there's a reason why I don't always respond to messages right away.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I'm mad at her or whatever.
And that's your wife.
Yeah.
Hey, there's consequences for not responding to your wife.
Yeah.
Couches, sleeping on couches, sleeping outside.
Outside it's cold right now. wise words. Be nice. It's cold outside.
And here's one that, I may not necessarily agree with, but someone else might. Some talk to you in their free time, and some free their time to talk to you. Learn the difference. To me, I see it differently than somebody else might read that. I might see that as, I'm supposed to be the center of their life. Somebody else might say, no, it's just, them making time to talk to you. And that's a fair point too. I just came from a time in my life where I thought extremely selfishly, and I thought people needed to respond right away. I thought people were just ignoring me or things like that, and I was in a very dark place. And so that motivated me in how I thought. And I would read quotes like this and say, "Yeah, I like that. That sounds true." But now I can look back and say, that's not always the case. There are good reasons why someone may not respond to you, or someone may not include you in an affair.
And
Affair in a bad way. I mean, an affair as in like an outing or like what's going on.
I see it both ways, because like I know people that I call constantly and they don't answer, or like I can remember a time when I worked 3 jobs and I still wasn't too busy to return somebody's call. Or I don't know. I kind of see it both ways. I have it to where I don't know. Now me and my best friend Josh, we have this. Hey Kayla, there's my beautiful friend Kayla.
Hi,
How you doing? Glad to see Kayla tuned in. You're awesome. So me and my best friend Josh, we have this understanding, like if we're on the phone with each other, and my number one pet peeve is people telling me they're going to do something and they don't do it. And so me and Josh have this understanding, like if we're talking, Josh says, "Hey, I'm going to do my best to, I got a phone call. I'm going to do my best to call you back." I would rather somebody do that, because we have this understanding. We know each other. I'll say, "Hey, I'll try to call you back. I'll do my best." But when you say, "Yes, I'm going to call you back," and you don't do it, oh my goodness, that lights a fire into me. And so, but me and him have this understanding where we're back and forth and we don't call each other back. We don't get mad at each other, because we know the key phrases, try to call you back, instead of, "Yeah, I'm going to call you back," and they don't. Because my goodness, you wouldn't believe how many times people tell me they're going to do something and don't do it. Whoo.
That I agree with. You see, that also is something that I've learned too, is that I would put down phrases in like a text message that I'd send and say I would do something, and because something came up, I've been muted.
Huh? You're not muted.
Oh,
You're on this one.
Oh, that's right. I thought, okay.
You're on that one.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
He's
guys.
got his own.
And
I'm a professional, guys.
And it's always a common courtesy to say, "Hey, I'm busy. I can't,"
Yeah.
or I got busy, I did this, but some people don't have that courtesy.
And it's like, and sometimes you don't realize it until, like how rude that is until it's done to you. And then that's a different story always.
Yep.
But no, he's got a point. It's like how we phrase something is important too. Because if we say we're going to do something, we should, and if we can't for some reason, we should let them know in some kind of a timely manner.
Yeah.
So they don't sit there and waste their time waiting for something or think
Exactly. Because I've got dozens and dozens of stories where people didn't do what they said they were going to do, and I wasted my time waiting. I didn't get to the point to where like if I'm going to do something and somebody says, yeah, I'm going to do it, and then I never hear from them, then I just go ahead and bye. I'm going to have fun by myself. I mean,
I've been,
because I ain't going to lie. I used to have, I've had this millions and millions of times. That was my number one top of the line thing to make me mad is people saying they're going to do something and don't do it. And so like all through high school, through college, and up until a few years ago, like I was to the point where somebody's telling me they're going to do something and they don't do it. And then I would end up just not doing whatever we were supposed to do together. And I just stay home. And then it just ruined my day. Well, then finally a few years ago, I got to the point and said, you know what? I'm going to go do this anyway by myself and have fun. And you know what? I had fun. And they didn't have fun, but I did. So, I mean, I don't got to where I used to let it ruin my day, but nope, not no more. I just move on. And
you see, those are the type of quotes that, depending on where you are, can have a good meaning, and depending on where you are, it might not be helpful to you at all. But it's one of those things that we should be careful with what we consume and why we consume it. If it comes from a place of hurt, we definitely should be careful because we can sometimes listen to quotes or that we think sound good that are very vengeful. If they didn't like you to begin with, you should go out and become better, and then if they start liking you, then you should say do the same thing to them. Type thing. It's like you'll find quotes like that, and they're very selfish, very vengeful, very from a really bad place, And so I feel personally that as Christians and as believers, we should be very careful with what type of things we consume and why and when.
Yeah.
I love.
Go
ahead.
Well, like you were saying about the whole, I lost train of thought there.
Train, come back.
No, there's no train.
You can
go ahead, Jared. It's gone. It left the station.
As far as quotes go, I love motivational quotes and good quotes. And I made this one up. Now, well, I say I made it up. I may have heard it when I was little. I heard this somewhere, it seems like. But I'm the only one that I know that ever says this and say it. And I say this all the time. Quitters never win and winners never quit. Mm-hmm. Regardless of what it is in life, whether it's a video game, whether it's like a goal in life, a dream that you're trying to achieve. If you quit, you don't win. Simple as that. If you win, then that means you didn't quit, and quitters never win. So many people fail because they just quit and they give up. They let something negative stop them from achieving their goal. And it's no different than a video game. I will literally play a video game hundreds and hundreds of times until I beat it. But eventually, like most games, you end up quitting and come back later. But I didn't win.
But then you're a quitter. If you quit and come back later, you're a quitter. And then you come back and you win. So quitters do win. Just throwing that out there. That's
but
mind blown deep.
But if you quit, but you come back, you didn't actually quit. You just paused. You paused. So you're not really quitting, like he said. Quitting is like where you just don't go back and you're saying this is too hard and you don't want to.
But you still give up at that moment.
Yeah.
But if you're doing something like, no, what, I'm just not good at this. I tried it for X amount of time. And you go and you pivot.
Yeah, and that's
but you quit doing that, and then you succeed at the new thing you've done. So you did quit, and you do win.
So it's like it's something that I will listen to.
I'm a quitter sometimes, and I'm okay with that.
But it's like a neighbor she once told me, it's like if you stop trying, quitting is when you just stop trying. All right. Now, if you pivot, like you said, and he used that word, if you pivot and you come at it from a different angle, then you're not really quitting. You're it's like this way isn't working, so let's go from this angle.
Well, I'm saying something completely different. Just pivot. I'm not doing that anymore.
No, I mean, there's some things that I can't do.
But you said, hold on, I got something here. You said quitters never win. But if you quit bedwetting, you quit doing that, aren't you a winner?
Yeah, because you no longer
bedwetting. So now you're a winner.
Yeah,
this is my 2 cents.
Yeah, there we go. I don't know where to go with this conversation anymore. But no,
and so
see, that's like you quit doing.
So here's something. So the devil wants us. He wants us to be negative Nancy's. He wants us to be negative about this and that. If you got a dream in life and you are constantly negative, oh, this ain't going nowhere. I done tried this. This ain't working. This ain't this. This ain't that. And you just quit. You give up. I mean, that's what the devil wants. You just pretty much gave in to what he wanted, But when you keep pushing and trust God, you succeed.
Yeah. Well, when you keep your eyes on God, it's kind of like how doubting Thomas, when he got out of the boat, this guy doubted all the time, but he saw Jesus walk on water. He didn't even think. It's like, hey, I'm going to go join him. He didn't think, this is like water that he was walking on. He was doing it. He had kept his eyes on Jesus. The moment he took his eyes off Jesus, he started sinking. The moment he did.
That wasn't Thomas.
Wasn't it? I thought it was down Thomas.
No, that wasn't Thomas.
Well, see, I don't know everything, guys.
Yeah, I was literally.
Who was it? Who was it?
I think it was Peter.
Was it Peter?
Yep.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that when that Stephen Furtick has a sermon on that called When did Peter notice the wind? But when did he notice it? When he took his eyes off Jesus. Yeah. But he doubted that was Jesus. He doubted him.
I don't know what he thought. He just took his eyes off.
Yeah, well, he noticed the wind.
Yeah, he's like he noticed the wind, and so he took his eyes off him.
He
realized it's like I'm in a apartment on water. The reality.
And see, Thomas. If you watch the TV series The Chosen, you need to watch it because the very first season of The Chosen, it shows Jesus at the party, and Thomas doubted that Jesus could do that miracle and turn the water into wine, and everybody at the party was like flabbergasted when Jesus performed that, and even it showed the guy on The Chosen, which a lot of their stuff they add in there. What if this was really said or whatever? It's pretty cool how they do that. But then the guys, the master of ceremonies or whatever they call them dudes, the guy stood up and said, "Hey," he said, "usually they give out the good wine at first, and then once everybody gets drunk, they give out the cheap wine at the end." He said, "No. You gave out the best wine at the end, and this is the cream of the crop." And he was very impressed, and he was just going on and on how good they did. So,
no, and it's like, and that's true. And on the thinking positively, I've done that before. I mean, I was in that. I was not. I'm not. I mean, thinking positive, but thinking negatively. Like I'd have a goal, but I'd be like, I can't do this. I'd give up before I even try. The devil didn't even have to try with me. I was pretty much beaten down. Like I just didn't want to get back up. Yeah. And I was like, what's the point of even trying? This is how it's going to turn out. Or what's the point of doing this? Or God's never answered me before on this particular subject, et cetera, et cetera. I'm sure we've all been there. And then I would read quotes like that would just feed into it. And it would put me more and more into like this dark state of mind, which is more of a bondage. This is where, the devil wants you to be to begin with. Someplace where you don't even listen to God saying, this could happen. This, you could go do this. We could do this together, and you don't believe it.
Yeah.
You just don't. And it's because you're like, well, we've done this before. It's like, yeah, but did you do it with God? Were you in a better place?
Mm-hmm.
Did you think better? Were you, do you know what you know now that you didn't know then, et cetera, et cetera? How things have changed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like the devil wants to keep you in this like box of this, like these dark thoughts where it's like, it's not going to work out. It's not going to be different. It's going to be the same, et cetera, et cetera. And as long as you're there, he knows you're not going to try. He knows you're not a threat. He knows that you aren't going to be a light to the world like we're supposed to.
Yeah.
And so, like that's a place where quotes like that can feed negatively into you, even if they're meant to be positive.
It's always best to cross reference to the Bible and see what that says.
And sometimes it's good to have one of those positive people around you, so that when you are in those dark places, and you read that out, it's like maybe they have a different viewpoint on it,
Yeah.
So it's like that's another thing. But what we feed ourselves and when we do it and the state we're in is important. And I, for one, can personally vouch that sometimes being in those dark places, you can tend to take even biblical scriptures in a negative way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and there's always scripture and someone twists it to a person.
Yeah, I was like, how? And I'm going to ask this, and obviously you don't have to type this in the questions for those who listen or anything like that. But it's like, how many of us have been in those dark places and we read something that so many people take as positive in the Bible, but we scoff at it? Now, a lot of people say that's mocking. You're not mocking. You're in a dark place. You are. It's like, well, I've never seen that happen before, so I don't believe it. That we all get to those places. Again, where the devil wants us.
Sorry, I was looking for the story about
Peter? Yeah.
my computer was running slow. It was trying to connect it to the.
It could have nothing to do with the fact that we have wireless devices all over.
Well, I was trying to connect to my hotspot, which you're connected to. And I was already connected to the Wi-Fi. Technology is being smart. Smart technology.
Smart.
Do you have
smarto.
Do you have any other particular
That's Penny.
quotes,
Penny's trying to get to the door.
Jared, that you can think of that you think would either be good or kind of not such good quotes to listen to, or just like off the wall quotes? Like Jason has a couple that he has.
Oh, I could.
Let's see. Let's see. Hold up. I got some quotes I'll find right here. I know.
I like
ones
faith
like.
because it's so easy to achieve. Okay.
That's the one you read. The one I read was enjoy the good times because something terrible is probably going to happen.
I want that pen. I like faith because it's so easy to achieve.
I typed in not positive quotes.
No, but that sure as heck made me laugh and put me in a positive mood.
Staying positive does not mean that things will turn out okay. Rather, it is knowing that you will be okay no matter how things turn out.
See, that's
actually positive.
That's kind of a biblical principle there too. It's
Keep
like
staying focused.
Yeah.
I'll be okay, just not today.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, so
Go ahead.
I'm gonna read a few of these quotes here. I've always been a big fan of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and he has a lot of quotes, and I'm gonna read like 3 or 4 of these. The first one is, "Success isn't always about greatness; it's about consistency. Consistent hard work leads to success. Greatness will come." That's a good one. And then let's see. One of his quotes says, "I found that with depression, one of the most important things you could realize is that you're not alone." That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then let's see. Where's this see? "I like to use the hard times in the past to motivate me today." Let's see. Oh, okay. I'm always asked, what's the secret to success? But there are no secrets. Be humble, be hungry, and always be the hardest worker in the room. Now, that's pretty good. But I like that one when he says, I found that with depression, one of the most important things you can realize is that you're not alone. Now, I don't remember what background he's got, if The Rock's got a background, if he's Christian or what, but I kind of can use that with, you know, 'cause you have to,
Yeah.
We can't
in
hear.
this world, you have God there for you, but you have to learn to give it to God. You can't, like the Bible says, you got to give him every bit of it, whatever you're struggling with. Don't give him half. Don't give him 2 and 5/16. Don't give him 1 and 7/32. I mean, you got to give him every single bit of it in order for him to help you. Because there's no halfway doing it. God don't work like that. It's either all in or, you know.
Yeah.
No,
One
it's,
and
it,
7/36.
and that's true too. Because sometimes we start to give God something, and then we end up taking it back. Like, oh, things are going well, God. I got it from here.
I
And
got
things
this.
start falling apart, so we go back to God and we kind of blame Him and say, God, this isn't working out anymore. And it's like, 'cause you're not doing that with me. You're doing it by yourself.
Like,
We were supposed to do this together.
I got you this far, and now you're like, oh, I got this.
Yeah.
And you leave him by the wayside. He's like,
It's kind of like when my father was teaching me to ride a bike. You know, I'd be like, God, I got this. I didn't have that.
well, you did until gravity set in. And
I didn't do it.
you found gravity.
Gravity found me real hard. Like, you don't got this, little kid.
But you're talking about biblical quotes and they're important. The next in line is a Chuck Norris quote.
Not really.
I don't know. It's not. I don't know. But I'm.
He found a Chuck Norris quote. Probably joke at the same time.
No, I don't.
Oh, cool.
It's a joke. I've always found that anything worth achieving will always have obstacles in the way. And you've got to have that drive and determination to overcome those obstacles en route to whatever it is that you want to accomplish.
Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris said that.
That's right.
Hey.
Probably before the Bible was written, but
In the times long forgotten, Chuck Norris wrote this.
They said when Christopher Columbus first discovered America, he was greeted by Chuck Norris.
To be fair, he didn't discover America. He found a little island.
But so he read that quote. That's a pretty cool quote. I actually hadn't heard that. So he's most people don't know is that Chuck Norris is a Christian, and he don't, like, if you look up his testimony, a story of what he went through, that's amazing. And then there's one video interview on YouTube where this lady goes in his house. This is from like 2 or 3 years ago, and she interviews Chuck Norris, and he's got a memorial, kind of like a mini museum in his house set up. It looks like a little museum kind of deal. And his brother died in Vietnam, and he's got like all his old brothers, like Vietnamese, like his old war uniform and all that. But just to hear him talk, he's pretty smart. And then look up his testimony sometime.
Yeah, remember? Yeah, I'm Chuck Norris, but have you heard Mr. T's?
Oh yes,
Yes,
Mr. T is a big Christian.
Oh yeah, it's like, and I don't know how people don't understand that Chuck Norris is a Christian. He doesn't hide that at all. It's just like the guy who played the Hercules series. I can't remember his name. Kevin Sorbo. Yeah.
Not right. That's
Yeah. Oh yeah. Kevin Sorbo is a Christian.
Yeah,
Look what Artie posted.
Yeah. He's a staunch Christian. In fact, he doesn't even do things that aren't really biblical. Yeah, it's like he's also starred in some D&D things too, which is weird because they just said he doesn't star in things that aren't biblical, but he keeps his faith in those things, which is interesting. Because I've also played D&D, and I've like played a cleric, which is kind of like a priest, and I've always included my God into it. And like, why are you doing that? We have plenty. We have a list of gods. It's like my God will do.
Oh, no,
Hey, Artie, you want to come up as a guest with us?
Oh no! How much wood would a Chuck Norris chuck if a Chuck Norris could chuck wood? All of it. He only
He said, "Oh,
had wood once, and all that same type of wood would vanish from the world.
mine's worse.
It's like in the beginning there
when
was.
God said, let there be light," Chuck Norris said, "Say please."
Well, here's one. Here's one. In the beginning there was nothing. Then Chuck Norris roundhouse kicked nothing, and told it to get a job.
I'm on a list of Chuck Norris jokes. I'm sorry.
Chuck Norris can make a slinky go upstairs. Adam says, "Time to go." Chuck jokes are out. Hey, you want to come up in the booth, Adam?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm gonna post that link if Artie or Adam wants to come up with us.
The dinosaurs looked at Chuck Norris the wrong way once. You know what happened to them.
Chuck Norris can divide by 0.
I have to bookmark this.
Those are fun.
Since 1920.
Oh my God. If you ask Chuck Norris what time it is, he always says 2 seconds tell after you asked. 2 seconds to what? He roundhouse kicks you in the face.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Adam's podcast is 8. Yeah.
Oh. We miss you, Adam. You keep the subject rolling and keep us on track.
Yeah, if anybody's looking for a good sports podcast to listen to, Adam and TJ got it going on.
Oh yeah.
516 to the. You know what? I'm gonna butcher that name, but it's on TikTok. Look up Pitch 91 on TikTok.
It's the same way. It's the same way with our radio station. With ours. With
It's yours.
Jason's radio station. I call it Quack. A quack in the darkness.
On the 7th day, God rested. Chuck Norris took over. I ain't never heard that one. That's good.
Okay, back to the
Look,
I'm sorry.
But those are good jokes. Those put you in a positive place.
Yeah.
That's kind of what comedic humor was like. I always love how stoic we make Jesus in pictures. I like to think of him more like a jokester. I mean, come on, guys. He's sitting by a well. This woman is being accused by all these people and about to be stoned. And here you have as a grown man who's known as a prophet throughout the land, writing in the sand. We don't know what. He could be drawing pictures. He could be like making tallies on how many people go away. Either way, that's pretty comical to me.
well, you know, if you watch The Chosen, it shows a few scenes on there where Jesus, like the guy that plays Jesus, his name is Jonathan Rhys. He played in the movie Jesus Revolution.
Oh, great movie.
Oh, I love the Jesus Revolution. That movie, if you ain't a grown man, if you don't cry in that movie, there's something wrong with you. But anyways, like it shows scenes on The Chosen where Jesus was like laughing and cracking jokes and stuff. And I imagine he was a super funny guy back in them days. I mean, surely it wasn't all super serious, you know.
Yeah, I like the part where he's going to stay. They're going to stay in that person's house, and they're like, "Oh, don't stay in the room on the corner because that's where my grandma's ghost is." He's like, "Ooh, I'll take that one." How many people can see Jesus doing that? Like, yeah, don't bother me.
That's her ghost. Cool.
But it's like those things, because I kind of feel that Jesus, even with all that he was facing, even all that he saw, he still had more of a positive attitude. Not because positiveness erased the realities that they were facing at the time, but because because of his faith in God. Like we're all supposed to. Things would work out even if they didn't work out the way he may have hoped, you know.
Yeah.
And the same way with us. It's like we can keep a positive mindset to know that things will work out even if it's not what we want. So,
yeah. I like this one. What's your thought on this one? being positive in a negative situation is not naive; it's leadership.
Yeah.
Oh, now I like that.
Because I don't want to be around a leader that says, "Oh, this is hopeless. This is dark. There's no way out of this." Then the team's not going to go anywhere. You're going to imitate what your leaders act like, not because
Yeah, if you're a negative Nancy 24/7, I don't want to be around you because I used to be one of those people. I was negative about every dead gum thing out there, but now I can't stand it. It drives me crazy. I just want to give somebody a stone cold stunner when they're negative about every little thing. But I mean,
Jared knocked him unconscious. He's out of there. Okay.
look, I could wear a cape on the back and it'll say P for positive. That would be me because I always try to find something positive because
I agree with that. I do. And I think I told Jason that. It's like, I like being the guy at the front door, greeting people and smiling, even if I don't feel like it. So some people say, well, don't you feel like you're faking? He's like, no, because I legitimately want to smile for everyone else. Just because I'm having a bad time or doesn't mean I should take that out on somebody else, is my mindset. Why should I somebody else's day because I'm not in a good place at that moment? Because I know that can impact people. I do. Just like I know that people sometimes say, I love your smile. I'm only able to smile but through the grace of God sometimes. Sometimes things are just really hard, emotionally, mentally. And that sounds like I'm crying, but it's just, I choose to smile so that other people don't have to bear it. Listen to me complain or drag somebody down who may be in a worse place. Because I've seen people have their entire days turned around simply by somebody's smile.
Yes, and I feel Artie there. That's my friend right there. Me and Artie's like this. That's my best friend from Louisiana. But I feel you, Artie, on the buzzard look thing, man. He's been catching the blues, man. All this stuff he's been going through, and I feel you, man. I got 2 trucks that's been broke down for several months. I couldn't even tell you when the last time I drove my blue pickup truck. That's how long it's been. But I can tell you this, that God always, if you trust God, and I know Artie does, I know he's a big see, look at there, been rough but still smiling. See, I like that.
Yeah.
So if you can always find something positive about each day. You can always turn to God for anything. God says, the Bible verse says, come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, whatever that. I just butchered it, but you know what I mean. That verse right there. If you read that verse and you trust God, then He wants you to come to Him. He doesn't want you to just come to Him only when things are bad. Come to Him when things are good too. But you can always find something. Like for instance, both my trucks have been broke down for. My green truck's been broke down since 2018. The transmission grenaded. Well, then my transmission grenaded in my blue truck, thanks to Government Motors. And so, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I was super upset by both of them. And in a way, I'm still am, but I'm praying and trusting God. And then boom, I get news that my green truck's getting close to being fixed. And then my blue truck, there's a light at the end of the tunnel that it can be rebuilt and fixed. But I just had to keep positive and keep praying, No, man, I still ain't got the blue one fixed. The transmission is, they only made that transmission for 1 year, and that was from my truck. And I hope that General Motors loses that lawsuit on that.
That's weird that they would do that. Well, I drive a Suzuki, which which they don't even make the parts for anymore. So any of the parts that they want to get fixed has to be secondhand, refurbished.
Oh,
yeah. I was like, I don't like it when car places do that. This isn't like like some other gadget in your house that you can just go out and buy a new one. A vehicle is more than a house sometimes, and you can
Yes.
only, and your vehicle's main purpose is to bring you to work, so you can make money, so you can continue to pay your bills. So they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot here with this business model of let's just make these parts for this vehicle and not like put them over to something else.
Well, Suzuki is for other vehicles. They made the GeoTrack. That Suzuki is for the GeoTracker.
Yeah.
And other vehicles as well. So it's not just one vehicle.
Yeah.
But
and
Suzuki stopped making the vehicle, so all goes that way. But yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Those cars are like, well, good luck on getting parts.
Yeah, it's like it's like you guys are really shooting yourselves in the foot with that. But
yeah,
again,
and Artie drives a Ford Taurus, but like my thing is on my truck. So my transmission went out. Did I ever tell y'all the story about that?
I don't think so.
no.
So okay, so my truck for a little over a year, my truck started making this noise, and it was making this just small noise, and I thought it was air coming out from the driver's side tire, and it drove me crazy because I can't stand that stuff. I like to put the best parts on my vehicles. I like to change the best oil. I take care of my stuff. And so it drove me crazy. Well, then finally one day it started getting worse and worse, and it started shaking violently. And so it started shaking violently going down the road. I said, my goodness. Well, had the extended warranty, took it to the dealership where I bought it from, and dealership checked it out, and they said, oh, your torque converter is going out, which is the part in front of your transmission that controls the everything in the transmission. I said, oh, your torque converter is going out. Well, so we called the third party warranty company, and my dad was talking with a guy trying to pretend he was me, and the non-English speaking guy said he didn't want to admit, because we was reading online where Government Motors had a lawsuit against them because they knew that their transmissions were garbage and they still put them in their trucks. So he called the guy, and the guy said, hey, he said, well, we can't fix we can't do you a new transmission until you take it to the dealership and they change all your fluid, they change your transmission filter kit, the whole 9 yards. And until they do that, then we can't do nothing. Well, we told the guy, the guy at the dealership said, this is not going to fix your problem. And the guy said, I know, but you still got to go through the steps. So we went through the steps, like almost $400 to change all that crap. And they changed it with the new synthetic fluid that's supposed to be in it. And the guy at the dealership said, well, I know this ain't going to fix your problem, but he said, just drive it for a few months. And if it comes back, then we'll come back. We'll do something about your warranty. I said, okay. And we drove it for a few months. It shifted fine, did everything it was supposed to do, just like the guy said. Then towards the spring there, it started shaking violently and doing it again. And so, and then I found out my extended warranty run out the first of the year, which is horrible. And come to find out that extended warranty only covers your electronics and all that other stuff. It didn't cover your drivetrain. Well, then I've been trying to join. There's two different law firms suing General Motors, and I'm trying to join one of the class action cases. And they said that the law firm told me, they said, yeah, they made that transmission. It's an 8L50, I believe it is. They only made it for 1 year, and that was for your truck. And I said, my gosh, they knew it was garbage and still. And the reason why mine wasn't listed in the first lawsuit is because that's for the first generation, and my truck was built in March of 19 and newer. So my truck was built in December of 19. It's a 20 model, so that's why it didn't fit that other. And so now I've just been going through that, and the lawsuit states that they knew what was wrong with them, but did nothing to fix it. So
Yeah.
that's one of the major nightmares I've been going through, and it's got a computer inside that transmission. Nobody wants to touch it. When I call these transmission shops, they don't want to touch it, and because it's got a computer in it. Well, then the dealership told us, it's, oh, you got the lifetime powertrain warranty. It's like, okay. Well, then, now get this. Let me tell you how crazy this is. The third-party warranty company, whatever the name of this company is, they denied the lifetime powertrain warranty. They listed several bogus reasons, because you didn't change your cabin air filter at 22,000 miles. You didn't change your spark plugs at 90,000 miles, like what was recommended in the owner's manual. They listed all these reasons. It's like, who in their right mind actually reads these owner's manuals and does it to a T? Now, I know one or two people that do, but not very many. So they denied it for those stupid reasons. And so now and then like, there's no transmissions in existence in the world for my truck. And then when you find a used one, I had a transmission guy found me a used one. He was so excited. And he's like, yeah, we searched all across the country. They search every single junkyard, every single salvage yard. We found one. I was so excited. And he's like, yeah, $5,800. And I can redo it and get it for you and do everything $5,800. But the catch is it had 87,000 miles on it. And so mine started doing it when it got to 90,000 miles. And every other truck that's the same year model as my truck is the same exact same problem mine's having.
Yeah, that sounds like a headache in itself.
It already says it should have changed the blinker fluid at 5,000 miles.
I'm just joking with you. I'm not somebody who does everything in the owner's manual to a T. My last truck, I couldn't even find the owner's manual, so I wouldn't even know what I was supposed to do.
I disagree with every 5,000 miles on blinker fluid.
I tell you what, I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson to be OCD and read that manual.
The blinker fluid.
Or every 10,000. Well,
And the sad thing is, Artie, there's people that really do believe there is such a thing as blinker fluid.
Yeah, brake light fluid too.
I would have. If you would have said that like a few years ago to me, I would have been like, really?
Well, there is.
Well, it makes sense if you don't know nothing about vehicles. If all you do is you take it into a shop, let them get it fixed up for you, and just let them lead you where they want you to go, so you spend the most money. So what? And the moral of the story here, folks, is do research on what needs to be repaired, so they don't take you for a ride.
Yes.
You go in there, you pretend like you know what they're talking about, but you don't have to be too knowledgeable, because then they get you in a lie.
Yep. And it's pretty much to the point. If you buy a vehicle, if you need to have a lawyer read the fine print and read every little thing before you sign on that dotted line.
And when we say fine print, it's that almost invisible, tiny little print they have at the very bottom of the page.
Yes. Yes. Only Mr. Wu could read that with his little spectacles.
Oh no! I want. Mr. Wu.
I missed that.
Oh well, you can look it up online. You can find Mr. Wu.
I never look at Mr. Wu.
Yeah, Mr. Wu.
I just made that up. That ain't no.
I want to see what comes up if we type in Mr. Wu.
Yeah, nothing.
Oh look, there is a Mr. Wu.
Mr. Wu.
Don't put Mr. Woody. It's Mr. Wu.
Where's Mr. Wu from? He's South Korean.
South Korean.
He was born on November 13th, 1963, also known as Mr. Wu, is a South Korean former footballer and freestyle footballer. His name is Woo Hee Young.
Ric Flair is Mr. Woo.
That's the thing.
but-
He's Chinese.
I'm the Dutch boy, Ric Flair, wheeling and dealing,
Bruce
letters
Chinese
ain't riding.
Korea.
That's not possible. They're close by.
He's even Korean. He says he's Korean, but he's also Chinese. I'm gonna get myself in trouble.
You're gonna get stop.
We're gonna get ourselves banned.
Look away from Guam. But back to our subject that we've been like slowly going off of this entire time. It's
Topic.
just be
We lost it.
we just need to be careful with what we fill ourselves and when. It's like even like turning to the Bible is dangerous. I'll point out one thing. How many times have we read the book of Judges and we see all the wars and all the combat there, and we're in a dark place to begin with, and we ask God to give us a sign in this reading today, and that's what we read. It's like, so apparently I'm supposed to go and slay all my enemies. It's like, how many people have been in that place where they pray to God to give them a message, and they just randomly point in the Bible where, and this is what God's going to be saying to us. Yeah.
God, yeah. So if you fill yourself with garbage, that's probably what's going to come out.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
God Twain.
Who?
God Twain, rare breed.
I pointed his screen because mine I don't see. I knew Jared would get it. There needs to be one of these. Hold on, what direction?
He's down.
That way.
He's
That
down.
way, right there.
He's this guy here.
Not that one. He's that way. Anyways. But yeah.
I'm trying to find.
Quote of the day. That's
Hey, Artie, do you have any quotes? Any good quotes, like motivational quotes, or do you just have some quotes in general? We'd love to hear from you.
And Shakespeare does not count, Artie.
Let's see. I'm trying to find.
oh yeah. Here's one.
That's my gift.
That's my gift. I let the negativity roll off me. I can't read.
Off.
Me like water off a duck's back. If it's not positive, I don't hear it. If you can overcome that, fights are easy.
I can see that.
That's just pretty good. That's Ken Fisher.
It's
So here's
George Foreman.
here's two more quotes from The Rock.
oh,
This
Artie
one's.
quote. Mine is, "You got to keep on keeping on." I like that,
Hey, I like that. I like that.
These boots are made for walking.
and that's just what they'll do.
One of these days, the boots are gonna walk all over you. That's not positive, though.
But no, I like that, Artie. That's good.
Positive.
So this is a deep one that The Rock says. He says, "I'll never ever be full. I'll always be hungry. Obviously, I'm not talking about food. Growing up, I had nothing for such a long time. Someone told me a long time ago, and I've never ever forgotten it. Once you've ever been hungry, really, really hungry, you'll never ever be full." And that is so true, because he grew up like, if you read his story, he grew up nothing. He grew up poor. And I'm trying to. There's one more quote if I can find it.
I've got one that I think would be interesting. So one day, this small boy comes home from school and he sees a kid being bullied. He tries to stand up for the kid, but he just ends up getting beat up along with the kid. He comes home and he's upset and he's angry, and he goes to his grandpa and he asks, "Grandpa, what do you do when you got to do something but there's nothing you can do?" His grandpa puts a sandwich in front of him and he smiles and says, "You do what you can." It does. I mean, on the outside, it doesn't make sense, but if you can't do nothing, then you just do what you can, what you're capable of,
Do it.
even if it doesn't seem like it makes an impact.
It's not something like that.
Yeah. It's sometimes, and if you really think about it, it's the way our faith works.
Yeah.
Too. It's like we plant a little seed by at least doing something that is right.
Yeah.
And then it's not our responsibility to see it grow. It's our responsibility to do what we can do and continue to do that. It's God's responsibility to take that seed and do with what He wills, and whatever that is to be. And maybe you don't see it, but
Yeah.
that stayed with me. I like that. You do what you can.
Here's Well, similar to what I said was, do not fear failure, rather fear not trying.
Yeah.
It's a weird
I
print.
like that. Yeah.
Similar, you got to do something. Just do something.
Yeah, it's like it's not even just doing something. It's do what you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like sometimes it's just simply just being the guy that smiles at a door. Yeah.
And that back to don't quit.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's the same nation. It's the same nation. It's the same nation. It's the same notion. As what we've been talking about the entire time. Keeping positive even when things don't look positive.
I have not.
Yes. So
1,000 ways not. It doesn't work.
That seems like a Thomas Edison thing. It's like I didn't find 10,000. I didn't fail making a light bulb 10,000 times. I just found a way not to make a light bulb 10,000 times.
Positive swing.
Well, talk about like smiling through what you're going through. So like me, for instance, both my trucks broke down, and it bothers me. And I've talked about it many, many times. I've made posts about it, but like, I'm always thinking positive. I'm always finding hey, it'll be fixed soon, or it's going to happen on God's time and not mine. And if you persevere through trials like that, any kind of trial, and you pray and you show that smile, you show ain't nothing going to get you down, then people, you'd be surprised what people see.
Mm-hmm.
People notice a lot of stuff that you do and go through. And if people see you go through this trial and say, wow, why is he not mad? Why is he not up there beating the brakes off somebody? Why isn't he doing this? Why isn't he doing that? He's positive. And then boom, that motivates them to.
Yeah.
Already says 43 years of bad luck. I have never had anything good. Well,
you made it. Made it 43 years.
Jared.
Wow.
Yes.
That's a win right there.
Yeah, there's plenty of positive things already. Like you got your kids, you got a job, you got the Southern Dirt Track Report, the greatest, motorsports reporting in the South, and so yeah, you got some positive outlooks there, buddy. Don't you worry about it.
Okay. You got they might know us, but I don't know if that helps.
Just look for God in those moments. Look for God and see what you still have.
The God nuggets.
Yeah. Take stock of what you still have, Artie. I can't say I've been in the exact same place because I don't know you and I don't know what you've been through, but I was in a place where I felt like I didn't have anything, and then somebody says, "Take stock of what you have."
Yeah. Okay, this is the perfect quote right here. I just saw this. I looked it up. This is Christian quote website. And this is from Charles Stanley, the famous Charles Stanley, whoever that. Anyways, it says the shortest distance between a problem and a solution is the distance between your knees and the floor. Whoa.
Always pray.
Getting on your knees and praying. That is the wow. And then let's see.
Especially I've been in like these real bad attacks, like anxiety and things. And sometimes I go to God, it's like, I feel terrible right now, God. Can you help me? And he just gives me those feelings of peace for me to stand up on my feet and get back going. I can honestly say that. And he answers that in a jiffy right there. So if I ever start to say God never answers my prayers, I remember those moments where he's there in those dark times, and he's there, and it's like he wraps me up in a warm blanket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, here's one. D.L. Moody. It says, in our prayers, we talk to God. In our Bible study, God talks to us. And we had better let God do most of the talking.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Along with my favorite Bible verse, a fool speaks when a wise man listens.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Bible verse. A fool. Oh, you.
I heard that. No, wait a minute. That wasn't listening. Wait a minute.
It's my only verse that I keep saying because it seems to match me a lot.
The one I know well is Job 2:6.
Mick Hammer once said,
McHammer.
It says right here, MC Hammer.
Well,
Once said, "You got to pray just to make it today."
Today.
I like it. Yeah, sometimes.
You are too legit. You're
And-
too legit to quit. I won't do the hand signs.
Yeah, and it goes along with what I
Sorry.
said. It's like, what do you do when you got to do something and there's nothing you can do? In this case, you pray.
But I do like the MC Hammer quote. I like that. I do.
I'm sorry, MC Hammer. If you ever watch this, I didn't mean to call you Mick.
Yeah.
I don't know where Mick came from.
Well, it's right there.
MC Hammer learned the hard way that Chuck Norris can touch this.
Hey, you better stop. It's Hammer time.
It's like Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris is the one person that doesn't have to bend over to touch his toes. His toes come to him. And that one was mine. But that was the show. We didn't stay on the subject too long. Sometimes we choose one and we get off. But just be careful what you fill your mind with. You're in a dark place. And if you ever are in a dark place right now and you happen to hear this, just know that there is a God who loves you. He may not make all your issues go away. He may not make the world a dark and a light and cheerful place, but he's there with you in those times. And ask him, God, just let me feel your peace. Let me have your peace. Help me to stand on my feet just for today.
Here's one from A.A. Allen. It says, if you're walking with Jesus in the Spirit, you need not fear going too far. No believer has gone as far as God wants them to go.
Yep. That's true.
Man, that's keep that, Artie. Keep that right there.
I'm gonna throw Chuck Norris joke in, and we'll go to prayer.
Okay.
Here we go. Wait for it to pop up. There it is.
Chuck Norris's calendar goes straight from March 31st to April 2nd because no one fools Chuck Norris. Oh, I just turned my head so fast that hurt. Oh, that joke hurt me.
That's a knee slapper right there.
Or in my case, a neck cracker.
Wait, okay, fine. One more.
Oh, no, he's got one more guy. What have you done?
Chuck Norris jokes. I'm only picking a few select ones. Here we go.
Chuck Norris doesn't.
Oh, go ahead.
Oxford would change his spelling.
Norris does not use spell check. If he happens to misspell a word, Oxford would change the spelling.
I had never heard that one. That's pretty good.
We are going to do the prayer of the segment today. We're sorry that we got a little bit off topic.
Hey, if anybody's got any prayer requests, y'all drop them in the comment section.
Oh, we
Drop your prayer request in the comment section.
And don't worry, we don't post these. We don't unless you want us to. And if you have any type of testimonies where God shows up, let us know. We would love
Yes, please do. And we want to have you as a guest.
Definitely, yeah. It's like we would love to share those. We'd love to have you on the show. We'd love to ask you a bunch of questions, get to know you, like your walk with God. You know, you're important to this show. That's why we do it. We like to plant good seeds for God's good harvest. So with that, we'll go ahead and do the prayer and just pray for everyone here.
Oh, there he is.
Okay, Artie, let's pray for you.
We got you, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
We got you.
I hope it was okay that we posted that for you, Artie.
Good time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's good.
Our Father in heaven, we just want to thank you for this awesome day you've given us. We want to thank you for the chance to come together and talk to you. We want to thank you for your peace that goes beyond our understanding in those moments when we need it the most. Father, may you watch over Artie and may you give him mental health and physical health and body health. And we just pray that you walk through whatever he's going through today. We know that this life can be hard and will come with obstacles that seem overwhelming, but with you, nothing is impossible. Father, watch over your child, Artie, and watch over the rest of us as we go throughout today. May we continue to plant good seed in your name and be your light on this world. Father, we thank you, the salt of the earth, the shining city on the hill. Amen.
Hey, look, anytime you want to come up with us, Artie, let us know. We'll bring you up as a guest.
Oh, we'd love it.
Absolutely. Yes. And that will end stream.